Hi, I'm Todd. Welcome to my video. In this video we're going to talk about peeling apples and drying them, making tasty apple treats that you can save and enjoy during the winter time or the off season. And we're going to talk about how simple that process is, and it's so easy that anyone can do it. We'll show you how. Okay, to get started today, the first thing of course we need is apples. I've picked these from my tree. They're the Golden Delicious variety. They're really tasty. This variety is quite sweet and a little bit tart. They make great for drying and tasting later. I like to just let the water run while I do this, and then it splashes over the others and rinses them off quite a lot. If your tree is like my tree, I tend to get a lot of birds visiting, and they poop all over the apples a bit, and I really don't want to eat that, and I don't think my family or friends do. So I like to clean them real good. I come over here, set them with some other apples that I've done. Let's talk about the tools that you need to get this project done. I've got an apple peeler. This variety here works quite well. I've used it for a number of years. It's made by the Pampered Chef Company. I'm not soliciting for them or anything, but I think any apple peeler is about the same. I don't know that their variety or brand matters much. Beyond that, then you've got to get this. You've got to get a dryer. We'll talk about that a little bit later and what all that buys us. That you can dry things quite a bit quicker. I know my mom used to dry just by putting the fruit out on a screen, and then she'd put another screen on top of it. If you want to do that, that's fine. That totally works if that's what you've got. I don't remember how much this was. I think it was under $50. But you can mail order that, and it's pretty easy. Over here, I've got some ready mix, lemon juice and water mix. I go between my mixing is I'll take a cup of lemon juice to 3 cups of water, and that seems to do me pretty well. Lemon really adds quite a good flavor when you mix it with the taste of the apple. Basically it's just a bath. What the lemon does is it keeps it from browning as you dry it. You know how you bite an apple and you come back, if you've left it alone or whatever, you come back and it's all brown and doesn't look tasty at all. Anyway, that's just chemical reactions going on in the apple as it interacts with the air around it. But the citric acids in here and whatnot kind of halt that process from going on. They actually does add quite a good taste to the apples. Okay, so I've got all my apples washed. I've got a cutting board here, and you'll need a knife. I'm gonna connect my apple cutter here, apple peeler I guess you could call this. Gonna tighten that up pretty good, because it's kind of, I'll be cranking on this thing and I don't want it to go off. Okay, so I'll take my first apple, and it's pretty easily done. There's a couple of spikes here. You just put this apple on here and then pull it towards you. This setup is pretty much automatic with the apple peeler. There's a few adjustments that you could do, but I don't ever have to do anything. It just came set up. I just connected it and used it. Okay, so then you just turn it. You see it's going real easy. I kind of hold my elbow in here. The first year I got it, I really got cranking, and it really kind of hurt my shoulder and elbow. But I just nice little twist. It's mostly in the wrist. Okay, then you take that off, pull the core out, then you cut it in half. I'll bring this bowl over here so you can see it. And I just simply throw the apple slices in there. Make sure they're all covered, give it a good bath. That chemical reaction goes on to stop the browning of the apple. And I'll let that sit there for a little bit. It doesn't really have to sit there that long. It's just long enough to get it really soaked. And I've got a lot more apples, as you can see. And I'll put those all in that bucket and let them kind of marinate there together, and then I'll show you the next step. Alright, just finishing up the peeling process. I thought I'd show you one more peeling. That's actually the funnest part of the whole project, is peeling the apples. Using this ingenious little tool to peel those. So I've got a lot of apples laid out. I can just cut those in half. It's so easily done. These apples, you notice some of them are different sizes. This one's real tiny. It's kind of what I had there. The apples don't have to be perfect. It's kind of the beauty of drying. The apples get shriveled up anyway. They look different, then they're not just absolutely perfect. So they don't need to start to be perfect. You can use some of your older apples. I like to just put those in the bath and make sure that they all get covered up there with that lemon juice. So I'm going to take from this other side that I haven't just put in. This other side's been soaking for a while. Let me show you what that looks like. I've got quite a few of those. Usually I'll fill it up a little bit more with a little bit more lemon juice, but if I push these down, and that should be good enough. Okay, so then the next step is you just pull out a few. I like to shake off the juice. Plenty of juice comes on in, but then you just spread them out over the dryer. It's pretty easy going. Let me adjust this so you can see a little better. So you just fill up all the empty spots with apple, and you do that about for these 5 trays that I've got. And that takes just a little bit. You don't have to lay them out perfectly. You can see I didn't. When I first did this, I tried that, and I didn't get as many apples on the trays, and it didn't work the best for me. I think just throwing them out there and trying to cover all the empty spots as best you can, as quick as you can, works well enough. It's not like apples are expensive or anything. You just kind of get it done and move on to the next task. And anyway, good times. You can fill these up and get ready for that next step, the step of drying. And so we'll go to there. Okay, I've got my dehydrator full now. I've got all 5 trays full. You can see there's multiple trays here. These dehydrators, mine shipped with 5 trays. I think that's perfect. If I were to add more trays, I would be afraid that they wouldn't get dried. Here I'm going to put my lid on there. We've got, this is where all the dehydrating comes out of. This is a pretty good little unit. I've had this for years. I've been doing the dried apples for about 3 or 4 years. My manual says that for apples it would be at 135 degrees Fahrenheit for between 4 to 10 hours. I like mine crispy. I don't like them soft at all. I like them dried quite nicely, so I'm going to turn it up to 145, and I'm going to run it for about 8 hours. That's my personal preference. You can adjust yours as you'd like. My apples aren't so big, and in a dehydrator unit like that I fit between 20 and 25 apples. These are the sizes of the apples. You can see they're pretty small. This one has a couple flaws on it. It's kind of funny, I picked that one up. These are great for drying. You just cut out those flaws and dry it. And a dried apple is all shriveled up anyway, so it doesn't really matter so much what it looks like. I did want to talk about this lemon juice. I've got a lot left over, the lemon juice water mix. Again, it's one cup of lemon juice for about 3 cups of water. You can adjust that if you want, but that's what's worked for me. I'll usually run multiple batches through one bucket before I fully replace the bucket of lemon juice. But I'll keep this in my fridge. It'll keep really nice. I usually run one batch right after another. And we'll get this dehydrator out on my back patio. That's where I like to do it. It can generate a little heat. I don't want the heat in my house because it's summertime. And I can just set it out there in the evening and then pick it up in the morning when I wake up, and I'll have dried apples. Anyway, we'll check on it in the morning. So this is done. I've let it sit overnight. It's cooked these apples, or dried them, dehydrated them. I'm going to set my lid unit off to the side. You can see they're there. They've shrunken quite a lot. So now I just have to pull these off the dehydrating racks. So go ahead and do that. This can be kind of sometimes some of the sometimes the oils or the lemon juice gets a little sticky, the apple juice gets a little sticky, and sometimes these racks can stick together like they just did. Anyway, so just pull these off, do it one at a time, and then I'm going to put these in a bag. Then I'll seal this bag up. I've got a half-gallon bag here. That seems to work well for me. I write the year that I've done this, and then I also put the type of apple that I've done. And then I seal that up nice and tight. I'll keep doing this for a minute, and then it's really important to seal these up really tight because what that does is keeps the humidity from getting the apple soft. But if you live in the desert like I do, it keeps them also from drying out further. You want kind of a nice balance on the apple. So anyway, I think that's probably good enough for this. So I hope you enjoy making dried apples.